Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to day 4 of the 12 Cast Ons of Christmas. My name is Kirsty, and 12 Cast Ons of Christmas is a special series that I'm putting out where I join in the Knit Along by Ange of Yarn and Yarns, where she casts on 12 things between the 24th of December and the 31st of January in the following year, just to set her up for her weeks, months, or years worth of making. This is my second year joining in, and I absolutely love it, and we are up to day 4. If you are new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. There have been a lot of new subscribers over the past week, and it's kind of flooring me a bit, so thank you so much for choosing to spend some time here with me today. I am excited to pick another project out of the bowl. If you are new here, what I do is I have put at the beginning of 12 Cast Ons, I put 24 projects in here, so I don't know what I'm actually going to be starting today. Some people have everything planned out beforehand. I like the mystery of just picking it out, and I love that any planning that happens right now today, and I haven't had to plan anything other than what I'm planning, what I may pick out of this bowl. So let's get in and see what I'm going to do today. All right, I have llama paper again. The one from yesterday was not on llama paper, it was just on plain paper, which means there is a newer edition. So we'll see what this is. That's the only clue I have. Let's see. Oh, okay. Jumper with new yarn, Irish Heather. This is one that I added to the bowl last Christmas because last Christmas I got given some Irish Heather yarn for Christmas. I have here Melanie or Pink Fizz. Melanie is I don't know if it's a free pattern or if I got it for free, but it's by Marzena Kowalczyk, who is someone that I'm already knitting a pattern from. She's a Polish woman. She lives in Australia. She has some beautiful, beautiful patterns. And I think Melania is one of her patterns. Pink Fizz is the other one I have written here, which is an Andrea Mary pattern, which I was planning to do with a green yarn, and I swatched, and it was way, 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 way out. I don't normally swatch, but I did swatch for that one, and it was just significantly bigger than what the pattern said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the yarn, and then we can have a little bit of a chat about what one I'm planning to do. It doesn't have to be those two. It could be something different, but they're the suggestions that are here. So I'm going to put that down, turn off the camera, and go get the yarn, and I'll be back. All right, I am back, and I have the yarn. So it is a very deep plum color. I want to say a little bit more pinky than is showing up on the screen there. And then I have this one, which is kind of more of a grape color. And so, or maybe that's grape, that's plum, I don't even know. They're very slightly different, but they're very much the same tones. This one is kind of a little bit more grey than this one. This is Irish Heather. I have the bags here, but they're very crinkly. So this is Irish Heather that is bought from Butchki Vormi. And then this is the Surrey Alpaca Mohair, which is also bought from Butchki Vormi. And I'm seeing a pattern. Is this the second? Third? This is the third time that this has come up in 4 days. So clearly I'm loving this yarn. I've used it a few times, and it is just a really great price. It's 25 grams, has either 300 or 375 meters. I think I've seen it both ways, and I'm not actually sure which it is. But yeah, it has great meterage, and it adds a haze of some fluff without being overly fluffy. It is just delightful. So I have these to hold double. I'm not sure whether I will do Pink Fizz. I probably won't do Melania, because I'm not feeling that one. Pink Fizz is a possibility. It has, I think it's a drop sleeve, drop shoulder, but it's got some lacework panels down the front on either side and the back. And I don't know if it's knit flat or in the round. I'd have to double check. I think it's probably, knowing Andrea, probably knit in the round and then you join and you knit flat for the shoulder, but I'd have to check. The other one that is coming to mind that I could possibly do for this is or Priscilla. Priscilla, I think, is what it's called. And it's a kind of all over cabled, has some bobbles on it cardigan. It is stunning, so lovely and romantic. And I've been thinking about doing that. She has it in a very pale pink, I think. And so that one and Pink Fizz, which is also done in a very pale pink, I've been debating doing in a darker colour, partly because I just wear darker colours more, but I'm trying to figure out how much the texture will actually show through if I'm using not just a dark colour, but also the fuzz as well. However, I'm probably just going to choose one of them and jump in. So I hopefully have already put the pictures up of what they look like. I'm going to go have a look. I already own Pink Fizz. I don't think I own Priscilla, and maybe that will just be the deciding factor today. But I'm going to go have a look and see whether the yarn I have will actually work for it. I've got, excuse the crinkling, I've got 3 balls of this, which is either 900 meters or like 1125 meters. It does say, yeah, look, it says on the bag 375 meters, about 425 grams. So I'm just going to go with that and say I've got about 1100 meters. So I'm going to go check and see if Pink Fizz will even work with the amount that I have, because it is a bit of an oversized cozy one. Otherwise, I may go purchase Priscilla and start that one. All right, I hope you have a lovely day. I mean, I say to you, I'll be back in a few seconds with some more footage, but I'm going to go. We are traveling in to a neighbouring town today, and I probably won't actually be back for like 4 or 5 hours. So as is pretty normal right now with life, my knitting time is happening in the evening. So I'm hoping that I can make all my decisions earlier in the day so that when I get back and have knitting time, I can cast this on. I am excited to use this, and it's only 1 year since it was given to me, which is pretty good. All right, it has been lovely, and I will see you soon, and I will take you along, and if there's anything interesting we see on our travels, I will try and take some footage. See you soon. Bye. Hello, I am back. It is 7:04 in the evening. My son is in bed. My daughter will be going to bed very soon, but I thought I would just check in with you quickly while she has quiet reading time to update you on our day. It has been quite a day. I haven't cast on yet, obviously, but also I didn't really take any footage of anything we did out because it was mostly I was just driving. We went into a few meetings and then I drove some more. I didn't get any footage of walking from one meeting to the next. I was just head in the meeting zone. So I don't have any footage to show you of that, but I am back. I did get some editing done and day 2's video uploaded, ready to go. I think that'll go live tomorrow. I'm going to try to upload them every 2 days. And if I can get some more editing done tomorrow, then that means there won't be as big a gap when I have a friend here and I can't edit. So yeah, that's my plan at the moment, is if I upload them every 2 days, then you might have one gap of like 3 or 4 days. But other than that, it should be able to upload fairly regularly. So that was exciting. What else has happened? I think that's about it. We were thinking of doing a movie night with kids, but they are just so tired. The elder one in particular is just really tired at the moment. So we're like, no, we won't do that tonight. Go to bed. We'll do a fun late night another night. Anyway, so now I'm here to talk to you about knitting. I did print out the pattern for the seam sweater because I forgot to do that yesterday. I was working off the PDF on my phone. So I printed that out so I can put it with the pattern, with the project bag. I did, however, find pink fizz. And I did tell you that my folders of printed patterns would probably make an appearance, and they definitely did. I am kind of tempted one year to just kind of pick out everything that I haven't made but I have a printed pattern for and just cast on as many of them as I can. But yeah, like this one, I have the pattern printed because I did a gauge swatch and I was planning to cast it on, and then it was way oversized, which I read the pattern and I realized why. It says in the pattern to hold lace and fingering together, but it does say that when they're held together, it's about a sport weight yarn, which a lot of lace, when you hold it with fingering, kind of makes it into a DK weight yarn. And I found that interesting because this is such a fine, like it's a lace weight and it's a fluffy lace weight, but it's so fine that it really does make it more of a sport weight yarn when I hold it with 4-ply. So I'm not gauge swatching this time, but I do think it'll work out better. The last one that I used, I'm not going to be able to remember what one it was, but I did notice it was quite a thick yarn, the lace weight one. So I think it'll work out better this time. And the other thing that I noticed is I was thinking that I would do the recommended size and then maybe go up a sleeve size. The recommended ease for this pattern is 10 inches, positive ease. So I'll be doing size 3, and that is almost bang on that recommended ease. However, I had a look at the sleeves, and I think I was thinking about it yesterday that I was planning to knit the size that I wanted, but upsize the sleeves. This one I was thinking I would do similarly, but it's actually got quite large sleeves for the size. Like they, I think once you got the ease, it kind of hits here, but they're quite large. Like I think for my size, it's 15 inches, where the seam sweater, as a contrast, I think had 13.5 inches. So that's an extra 1.5 inch of positive ease around the sleeve. So I think it'll be fine. I do find sometimes that the sleeves are too tight, and Andrew Murray always recommends you go up in needle size if you're doing small circumference, because sometimes you do that tighter. I don't often go up in needle size. I'm more likely to just go up in a sleeve size. But in this case, I think I will be fine. So I am ready to cast on, with one exception, and that is needles. Now, this one I hit last year toward the end of the 12 cast ons, is that I started running out of needles. This one, because I still have some sweaters on the needles from last year, I've hit it a little bit earlier, and that is I just don't have many 4mm needles. Have I actually used any? I don't know if I've used any yet this year for the 12 cast ons. I've got 4.5s for the leg warmers. I had 5s for the wrap. I don't even remember what the seam sweater was, but I think I started with the 3.5. The whole thing is 3.5, which is what I need for this. So all my 4mm are just gone, being used in other projects. It's not a problem. This one is cast on bottom up. And so you start with a split hem in ribbing. So I've got 2 ribbing hems to do on 3.5mm needles before I need a 4mm. So I'm going to go with it and see how much of the hem I can get done. I'm guessing I'll probably get a couple of inches of one of the hems. I won't get both. So I have here, because it's a split hem, I'm just going to do it on a small needle. I don't need a giant cable. And I'm just going to, right now, attach my 3.5mm tips to my cable. These are, let me show you, Mindfulness, the Mindful Connection collection. It is by Knit Pro. They have tips that are quite similar to ChiaoGoo in terms of pointiness and in terms of the feel of the metal. I do find, and I've said this before on my regular podcast, I definitely prefer ChiaoGoo. I find the join, this is an even shorter cable, but the join here, where in this case interchangeable joins, but I have fixed needles and it still has a little jog there. I just find the ChiaoGoo ones, I've never had knitting get caught on it. With Mindful collection, I have. And sometimes, like I got one that has a swivel end. I don't think this is one of them. No. Or maybe. Anyway, I have some with swivel ends and they get caught even worse. So they're not my favorite, but they are my favorite kind of entry level cost. I have some other ones. Like Knit Pro Nova is more similar to Addy needles, and Mindful are more similar to ChiaoGoo, but they're both more budget needles, and so you do get sometimes a jog that's extra bad. Yeah, it's just, you get what you pay for, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I enjoy using them and I do use them, and I'm really glad that I have an interchangeable set. I wasn't ready to buy a ChiaoGoo interchangeable set. I think I got these going back a few years. I want to say this set was about 100 Australian dollars when I bought it, and the equivalent ChiaoGoo would be 200, maybe more. So for what it is and the amount I've used it, I'm very happy with it. I don't like using them for small circumference because I find small circumference, I notice the jog more, probably because the knitting is stretched a little bit more. Anyway, all that to say, I have them, I'm using them, I'm grateful that I have them, and I do use them a lot. And there are some needles I just will not go near, and these ones I use and I use and I use and I use. So for all I'm saying they're not my favorites, I definitely use them a lot. So I have my 3.5 millimeters. I'm going to just have a quick look for my size. All right, so you start with the back, and I need to cast on quite a few stitches. Not quite as many as I did yesterday, but this is the half of the bottom rather than the whole neck. And it says German twisted cast on. I'm probably just going to do long tail cast on like I always do. And cool, that's going to be quite simple to do. I think I will take this down and cast it on in front of the TV rather than doing it up here in my bedroom. These are definitely swivel ones. I will put these back with my other needles so that if I have another project where I need something, I have them there. I did check. I don't have 4 millimeter in here, so they're definitely out on a project. I just don't know where. And when I get to this point, I have two options. I can buy more needles, or in this case, I could just buy more needle tips, or I could wait, I guess 3 options, or I could wait until another project is finished and I have my needles back, or I could steal them from another project. In this case, because I don't think I'm actually going to get up to it today, I'm going to leave it. And then when I come back to the project, whenever that is, I'll see if I have some more 4 millimeter needles that have been freed up in the meantime. I also got out my little gingerbread man. And so I'm going to bring that with this. I didn't get out a project bag. So let me do that. I will get out a project bag. There we go. My cute little gingerbread man. I'll get out a project bag and I'll get out some stitch markers, and then I'll go downstairs and cast this on. See you soon. Hello again. It is my bedtime, so I'm checking in to show you what I've done for my cast on. I did get it started. This is the bag that I've put it in. I have a tutorial here if you're wanting to make a project bag. The tutorial's for like this, but smaller. It's a sock size one. But I do mention in the tutorial how to upsize, change the size. So if you're interested, you can go check that out. It'll be linked below. All right, I did get it started, but I realized a couple of things. One was that I never actually mentioned that I decided on the pattern. I started talking about the pattern, but not that I'd decided on it. The reason I went with pink fizz partly was because I realized that the yarn should work really great with it according to the size guidelines. Like as in, she said it would be more like sport weight, which is what this is. And Priscilla, it is Priscilla, said that it was more DK weight. The other thing that made me choose this one, I went through the project page photos and I found a really beautiful one in like a deep pink. But it was that deep colour and you could still see all of the patterning and the lace work and it just looked stunning. So that definitely helped as well. Priscilla, every time I looked at it in a darker colour, I just didn't like it as much. It is a very like whimsical, romantic kind of cardigan. And I think it really benefits from having softer coloured yarns. That's just my opinion. Other people can have a different opinion. That's fine. But I decided for the deep tones here, I would stick with the pink fizz, which I knew would work with that. The other thing is the last V-neck cardigan I made was the 3 Seasons cardigan by Wool and Pine Designs. And it just doesn't fit well. To the point where I'm planning on frogging it. I still have a bit of the original yarn left over. And I'm debating frogging the fronts. I think you start with the back on the one. Frogging the fronts and then reknitting the front to be like a scoop neck and then reknitting the sleeves. So frogging the sleeves and the front and reknitting 3/4 of it. Yeah. So I didn't want to go to another V-neck cardigan at this point. I don't know if it's just the shape, my shape doesn't work with it or what. And I'm not saying that Marjana's designs wouldn't work either. I've loved knitting her design and I think it's a really thoughtful design and so many things about her designing process are so thoughtful. So it may have fit perfectly, but I'm just a little bit wary of V-neck cardigans right now. And I think I've decided I do want to try, I was going to say round 1, but I don't really wear them either. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll try another cardigan one day. Right now, let me show you what I have done. This is my progress. I've got the marker there marking how much I got done on day 1. It's about an inch worth, and this is the back. So what to tell you about this, I cast on using long tail cast on instead of the German twisted cast on that the pattern said. And again, I did it over 2 needles. I don't find it quite as necessary for like the bottom rib of jumpers and things like that, but I do it anyway just because it's what I always do. And you can see down the bottom there, maybe like it looks a little bit loose, but actually the gauge here is quite loose anyway. And I'm expecting that the yarn will kind of bloom when I block it. You're probably not going to be able to see this in this lighting, but I will try and show you anyway. It's knit flat. When I do long tail cast on and knit in the round, the right side out side of it faces the outside. And again, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. All right, I don't think you're going to be able to see this. When I do a long tail cast on, one side has, bag's falling down, like a little bump. It's almost like a pearl bump, and the other side just looks like the side of a knit stitch. but going sideways rather than up and down. And so I think of the one that has like the side of a knit stitch as the right side and the side with the purl bump as the wrong side. If I'm knitting socks or anything else in the round, then the right side is the right side out. I don't have to do anything. If I'm knitting it flat, then I have to make the first row that I knit the wrong side row, and then the right side row will be the other side. I did not do that here. And it is a 2x2 rib, but it's not exactly the same on both sides. One side has the knit 2 on each end and the other side has the purl 2 on each end. And so I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do, because I either have the ends as the wrong side round or the bottom part as wrong side round. I did have to think about it, and I thought I could either have, like, I could have one thing the wrong side round, or I could frog it and start again. And I realized this on my second row, I think, of knitting, so I could have easily frogged it. But the yarn that I'm using is quite toothy, quite grippy. The Irish Heather, I think it'll bloom beautifully when it's blocked, but right now it is quite a grippy yarn. And obviously mohair is a nightmare to frog at all at the best of times. So between the two of them, I wasn't looking forward to frogging even a couple of rows. And I decided I would just stick with it. It's quite a dark yarn, which will hide quite a few things anyway. And so I've been debating which way to go. And I think what I'll do is I'll make the part that the cast on part that looks like the right side out, and it will just leave me with, on either end, a little, well, it'll end up looking like that. It'll end up looking like a slightly larger knit section at the end. So anyway, that's what I've done for today. It is not much, but it is started, and having already swatched for this sweater, I don't know, months ago, in fact, over a year ago. Is it that long ago? It must be. Having swatched for this sweater over a year ago, I'm really, really happy to get it started, and I'm going to love it in this colour. I have decided to just follow the pattern exactly. I'm not going to try and do any modifications for size or length or anything. So that should be pretty simple, and I'm looking forward to keeping on going with that too. As for what's coming up tomorrow, I have no idea what I'm going to be casting on, but we are planning a restful day at home tomorrow, so I'm hoping that I should be able to cast on in the morning and then work on it a bit throughout the day, rather than waiting until the evening. Very excited for a more restful day. Yeah, probably watch a movie with the kids. We are, what is it? It's December 29th. So we're definitely in that like middle of Christmas and New Year's time. So yeah, looking forward to that. And I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, if you've been knitting or if you've cast on anything new, I'd love to read about it in the comments below. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.